Hello everybody. In this video, we'll be doing some refactoring and we'll also be working on an area underneath our map which allows us to die and respawn. Okay, so before we get started with our death area, I just want to do some refactoring just to implement some better coding practices and kind of keep things a little more consistent. And throughout the process, I'll kind of explain why they're a little bit better coding practices. But so the first thing I just want to do is some scene restructuring, and it's nothing crazy. What we want to just do is move our finish point into our environment, and I like to take any kind of just basic nodes that you have and move them to the top. So let's just move our level manager to the top. And I'm also going to make sure to give level manager a unique name because we're going to make some changes to our scripts. So the first change we want to make is rather than doing the group method we've been using, I'm just going to change it to our onReady method. So just hold down control and drag in our level manager and everything should be fine. And we're going to do the same for this. So we can just take out this line and replace it with our onReady variable. And take out this first line because we don't need that anymore either. Then we can go ahead and change this part of our script in the finish point just because this get node function is really not the best way to get access to another node in the scene tree. So what I want to do is rather than doing everything inside our finish point script, let's actually do it in our player. So I'm going to add a new script to our player. Player is fine. And we can go ahead and give it a new class name of player. And just make a new signal on it called level finish. Go ahead and save our scripts. And then go into our signals. Double click on our new level finish signal and we can go ahead and connect it. And what we also need is our two variables that we had in the finish point, which is our camera and our body, which in this case is our camera container and our marble. So I'm really just gonna make a quick change. We have to make sure that we're giving all of our scripts class names because it just that's the consistency part I'm talking about. It'll just make IntelliSense a lot easier for us. So we can go ahead and give this class name marble. And we can go ahead and give our camera container a class name of camera container. And then what we can do is we can just copy these four lines over. I'm just going to cut them actually and head back into our player with our new script and into our on level finish. Let's just paste that right in. Grab our references. So let's get our marble and let's get our camera container. And we can just name these two bottom ones marble now because that was our body. And our camera container, we can just call it camera. That's fine. And let's make sure that we give our finish point a class name. Just for later use. And let's give our uWindscreen a class name. And there we have it. Our ground check ray, we don't really need to give a class name for now. Let's just give it one, just in case we need to call to it later on. But yeah, there you have it. Just wanted to do some quick refactoring. Let's make sure that everything works. Oh, I know that I forgot to do something, and that is emit the signal in the finish point. So rather than this camera get node, let's do variable player of type player, because we gave it a class name, is equal to body.owner. And then we'll just do player.levelFinish.emit. So let's go ahead and try it now. Now we can't move the camera behind us and everything works great. So now let's move on to the death area. Alright, so let's get started with this death area. And to give a brief description of what it is it's just an area that's going to be underneath the map, and whenever the player falls into it, they'll spawn back in either their initial spawn point when the game started or wherever they got to a checkpoint at, which we'll do checkpoints in the next video. But yeah, to get started with it, let's create a new scene, call it death area, and we'll add a area 3D to it and a collision shape. And this is going to be similar to the finish point. It needs a shape to actually know like what it is. And we can save this scene. Death area is fine. And we'll create a new folder called death area. And we'll add a script onto it as well. This is fine. And what we'll do is we'll do something very similar to our finish point, which is this on body entered, and get the player. So we can do on body entered. That's fine. And we can just copy this over. Make sure our indentation is correct. And then we'll just do player dot global position is equal to level manager dot spawn location. And we don't actually have this yet. We need to make it, and we need to make sure that we are referring to our level manager. So let's go into our main level 1 scene and then add our new death area. Click on the script, and we'll just control click our level manager into it. But we need to also make sure that we create the variable for it. So we'll do variable spawn location of type vector3, because that's what a global position is. It's a vector3. And we'll add something to the ready function, and that is we need to make sure that we get the player's initial spawn location. So let's make player unique and then refer to it with an onReady variable. And then we'll just do spawn location is equal to player dot global position. And you might notice that these are just kind of backwards right now. Player position is equal to spawn location, and spawn location is equal to player position. But once we get checkpoints, we'll be changing this spawn location to the checkpoints global position. So last thing we need to do is we need to make sure we're not actually changing the player itself's global position. We're actually changing the marble's global position. A bit weird. If I would have done this tutorial over again, I would probably do all of this marble and camera logic probably just straight in the player, but the way we're doing things now is we're just moving the marble's position. So yeah, that's why we need to make sure that we're doing the marble global position, not just the player global position. But now we need to make sure that we actually give our collision a shape, and we need to make sure that our collision masks are okay. So let's make sure that the mask on our area 3D is on the player masks. Then let's head into level 1. Let's go to our death area, give it editable children, because that's going to allow us to actually change the shape of our collision. Let's do a box shape. Let's just make a big rectangular shape. We'll move the root node under the map. Let's make it a little wider. Then, if the player collides, we will spawn at our initial spawn point. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, we'll be doing checkpoints in the next video, so stay tuned.